Hello everyone, and welcome to the first of a double feature with the incredible Ryanogiggs, because we are filming these videos back to back more than any other reason.
Someone said I'm always on this channel, and
Someone
I think
said
now
you
they're
wanted
starting to be right.
enough channel, like enough videos, and you know what? We decided that just as they requested, more Ryanogiggs videos. It's time for more Ryanogiggs videos.
This is coming. This is going to become a Ryanogiggs account, and it's going to be like electric as my co-host. So
Yeah.
that's. I think this is the way the channel's going.
I actually just realized this is the first time that I've put the co-host name second instead of first. But yeah, so this is the first in a series of singles draft league videos that I will be making, and I'm breaking down my draft. So I used to make a lot of singles draft league content, and then in Generation 8 I found singles draft to get much less interesting, I think predominantly with the advent of heavy duty boots, and also VGC as a draft format really picked up, so I really gravitated towards that and had a lot of fun doing it. And I basically only play Ubers, and then even then not like at the highest levels. I would generally be playing in like the second or third div of an Ubers league and having fun, because I think Ubers is still super fun. Well, I played it with Terra. That sounds like it'd be really fun. No, I have played it with Terra, and it was really fun. That's right. I played two leagues with it. I have played some other singles, but beyond the ones I remember. Yeah, this is a Paldea Dex draft with the Teal Mask Pokemon. And you were considering like doing a Teal Mask. I think you said Nat Dex singles league.
Yeah, so I've been a part of a handful of leagues now, but only one of them has been singles, and that was Natdex, and it was my first introduction to draft league. It was pretty fun, and I'm really looking forward to another singles league. I'm obviously not in this one, but I was discussing with Electric that there's a singles league that I've actually put myself forward in, and yeah, so I have one season worth of experience, and in this season, my record was good enough to get through playoffs in any other group except for the group I was in, much like Enamorous this year. So
okay, but not. I think you were in Qianpao the previous time, were you? In season 9? Yeah, in season 9.
It's so funny you say that, because the singles league I was in actually had those same names as well. I have no idea. I can't remember.
But you didn't you weren't gonna make it through any of the divisions.
Oh, it's for the VBL,
for
my first
9.
season? Yeah, because I was 1-6. That is why.
Yes. So yes, better than.
I've grown since then. I've grown as a player and as a human.
Oh, you're taller now. Or do you just mean like longer hair and nails?
I just mean, spiritually and like within knowledge, of the game. When you're saturated with such great content, like
It's
Mancini,
true.
the amazing A to Z, you're gonna grow as a person.
You really will develop. Also, I've had like a decent regulation-y more recently, which is cool. But yes, the Intelligent Leon is coming back off the bench. It's been a little while since I've had a season, like a league where I've been the Intelligent Leon, but that may be completely incorrect. Honestly, I have like 4 main teams, and then like some other teams, and no, like 5 main teams. Then some other teams, so it's hard to know what I've actually been using.
That's fair. I'm personally trying to
put
put everything into one name at the moment. I was the Dublin Dondozos and the Raccoon City Rideshoes, and I've actually got their commission a piece of work for the Dublin Dondozos.
Piece of work commissioning as well for Roaring Mooncase. But we'll see. But yes, Ogerpon, new Pokemon, a bunch of other returning Pokemon, and then there was like Diplin, Ursaluna Blood Moon, who's banned, and a few other Pokemon. I don't remember. But this league added banned a bunch of the toppest of tiers, but not Ogerpon Hearthflame because question mark. The Gliscor got banned, which is sad because I wanted it. I was 3rd pick overall in 16 coaches. Honestly, you could probably put 20 coaches with this list. You could definitely put 18. There's a lot of Pokemon. And I brought back one of my favorite things to do in Gen 7, which was the triple steel core. So we'll go through that. But yes, I didn't.
Yeah, why don't you explain it like you explained to me when you get through it? Because I wasn't actually a believer of the first 3 picks until it was explained to me, and I saw the light then. So
I've used a lot of triple steel cores in my time in Generation 7. So this is the first time that I've used Generation 8, 9. Generation 9, I've used triple steel. But the core idea was in Generation 7 that being weak to Stealth Rock is bad, so having a bunch of Pokemon that resisted Stealth Rock is good, and also a bunch of them also set Stealth Rock. And then if you could also get them to synergize beyond that, that was good. Steel was like a super consistent sort of type outside of that fairly like balanced offense sort of meta that just sort of dominated Generation 8. And like being immune to poison was a lot more relevant before Galadex. Then in Galadex, like because the Pokemon Home added Toxic back to everything, and it didn't do that here.
Yeah.
So not as relevant now, but yes. The first Pokemon I got, so Doublade is what it was used a lot in like early Generation 7, and then later in the generation when Aegislash was getting unbanned more consistently, and then in Generation 8 when Aegislash was unbanned pretty consistently, then you would use Gholdengo. But this also is also sometimes like Magnezone or sometimes Empoleon or sometimes whoever. The point of Gholdengo though is as a Ghost and Steel type, it is immune to fighting, which is one of Steel's 3 weaknesses. It's also a very strong Pokemon with a high space special attack and a decent speed stat, along with its signature move Make It Rain, which does high amounts of damage. It also has access to Trick, so you can disable some defensive checks to it, and it has like the ability to Calm Mind or Nasty Plot, I believe, but no Stealth Rock.
Yeah, I don't know if it's Calm Mind, but definitely has Nasty Plot.
It definitely does have Nasty Plot. It's got Recovery as well.
Yeah, I think it's one of those mons, like it's definitely a first round pick. Like it's such a good counter to, you know, the Rapid Spin and Defog, so if you can set up the rocks. And yeah, it's like it's one of those mons that like you put the leftovers on it, like it can last way longer than you expect as the game goes on. It hits so well with like the dual stab that it has is just like great. Like I think this is a great pickup at the start.
Yeah, so I was third pick. I was hoping Gholdengo made it to me, and it did. It was like when I realized that Gholdengo was still around, I started considering going for the classic triple steel. And yeah, so Gholdengo doesn't have access to Stealth Rock, neither did Aegislash. It doesn't have access to Spikes either, which, you know, is definitely a bit of a friction point. No Skarmory in this format means that you are limited in terms of good like Rocks and Spikes options from a Steel type. So it was definitely something to consider. So I definitely had to think about that. But Gholdengo's offense is, I think, more consistent than Aegislash, even if it is less tanky, so it will often get less things, and it doesn't maybe Sword Stance as easily, because it doesn't have Sword Stance, but like it doesn't Nasty Plot as easily as Aegislash Sword Stances. But I feel like it can follow up a lot easier because of its speed stat.
And I know you're saying as well, even like defensively it may not be like as good as Aegislash, but like its offensive pressure can be that good that you're still not taking chunks out.
134 special attack, is it?
Yeah.
Because Aegislash is 140, which is slightly
133
higher.
Special attack.
133. Sorry, I was wrong by one.
But
Make It Rain is just so much stronger than Flash Cannon. And it has better coverage in Dazzling Gleam and Power Gem. And it also has Trick.
When I think of a mon that just like probably shouldn't stick probably should not stick around for as long as it does, I always think of Gholdengo. There's so many times I've used it or I've played against it where I'm just like, how is this still alive? Like as the game goes on, and I just think obviously it's great two types, and especially passive recovery if you're using leftovers, like it really adds up.
I also just think the Pokemon looks awesome, and then it's also
absolutely
in the Geld. So it's like in Gold, which is why we've got Gold member here, as portrayed by Austin Powers. I don't actually remember what this character's name. As portrayed by Mike Myers, I just said by Austin Powers. By Tom Cruise, exactly what you were saying earlier. Definitely Tom Cruise.
Comment below if you think that Tom Cruise's character in
Tropic Thunder,
Tropic Thunder, looks in any way, shape, or form kind of like this character, because I got a little bit confused.
Is the Pineapple movie maybe the film that they're filming inside Tropic Thunder?
No, Pineapple Express is, I think, what is it? Is Jack Black in this one as well? No, Seth Rogen's in this one. Yeah.
It's just a different movie.
James Franco. Yeah, it's just a different movie. Less funnier movie, in my opinion.
I think that is true of many Seth Rogen, James.
Yeah. I also think it's very much true of many films that you have, just up against Tropic Thunder, I think Tropic Thunder, up
Is
there.
it yeah, he really. Yeah, I believe you were a very strong supporter of the blackface.
Robert Downey Jr.
overly
doesn't do
critical of it, though.
blackface. Robert Downey Jr.'s character does blackface. There's a huge difference there. So
Sure. But yes, in the Geld, very, very classic gold type Pokemon. It was meant to be a play on in the purple, which is like to be like a member of the royal family of the Roman Empire. But yes, so in the Geld. And Geld, I think. Is Geld Dutch for gold? Am I wrong on that? No, it's money. It's money, and I think also gold.
okay.
But I could be wrong on that. But yeah, it means money. I don't know. Because it's the money, it makes it rain. Yeah, sorry. Heatran, John Deere. Everyone's favorite piece of tractor equipment. Heatran. It was that, or I was naming it based on a dog, and I couldn't think of a good dog one. Not that the rest of the nicknames here are good.
Yeah.
Forewarning. Heatran is great, because it is the best steel type in the format. It also has Stealth Rock, which is good, because I actually needed that.
Yeah,
We're trying to
it's
do one of these
great.
versions of the team with Stealer, and Stealer does not have Stealth Rock. So it's just Heatran. So I had to make sure I got a team with more than one Stealth Rocker. And because I had Zygarde as
Well,
the ground on that one too.
I know you were saying as well, like it's really nice for the flash fire because with the triple steel.
There is only
but even
2 ways to hit this Pokemon with a fire move. If I am running Flash Fire, which is Halucha Fire Punch or Terra Blast from any of the other.
yeah.
Terror for any of the other Maul
But
Breaker
even
Pokemon.
flame body being 30% like is
It's good.
is
though
great as well.
I maybe feel like often my team may want to run Flash Fire
Yeah.
because I would like to switch this into fire types.
Yeah, that's fair.
I definitely had a week
And you
one.
already
I definitely had a week one where because I've already played my week one, where I decided that I will go with videos for this. I was inspired by Jace, who is
Yeah.
also in this league and is in fact the commissioner, to go with it. To
Hi,
record
Jace.
videos. Yep, hi Jace. You better watch this or I will cry. Yeah, Heatran. It's a dog that is also a UFO, and it's John Deere. I mostly have John Deere. Apparently, you said that it's a popular brand in Ireland as well.
very
Australia,
popular.
We have Elders, so I honestly mostly just thought of it as the funny American thing. But apparently, yeah, no, it's a multinational.
Oh yeah.
I also mostly
Or
know them
to-
because they do like really awful things to their like if you buy it, they have like a thing of if you try to manually repair it, it will like shut down.
Oh wow.
If you don't like pay for one of their people to come out for it, it's something.
Yeah. Hopefully Heatran doesn't do that. But
I know that's my hope.
We'll see.
We'll see. And then yeah, so Heatran's immune to fire, which is good if you're running 3 steel types, because having a fighting immunity and a fire immunity is good, because that means that you can switch in on some of their weaknesses, and it makes it like running a coverage move against this triple steel is more challenging. Even if I have definitely done ones where they have not been like where I've had triple steels where I've only had like Heatran as an immunity to one of their main weaknesses.
Yeah.
Like I did Heatran, Klefki, and Polium once, I believe, which Dragon is a famous steel weakness, right? That's why I had Klefki on the team.
Yeah.
But yes, John Deere. And then we get to Corvus. This nickname is weird. Corviknight is cool. Oh yeah, also Heatran has fire moves. Fire moves are good. That's why it's also very, like, it's just ridiculously good Pokemon.
Yeah.
Corvus. So Corviknight, I don't know what it does, but I swear I popped off like crazy with it in early Gen 8 draft, like pre-Pokemon Home Gen 8 draft. I swear I had like a really good season with it, but I cannot remember what I did with it in any of the times. I think probably just U-turn and defog.
Defog, U-turn, Roost. That's for recovery. It too great. Like
That's right. I pressure stalled out a bunch of people.
yeah, there's that as well.
That's a fun thing.
Recovers only like 8 TP now.
Yeah, but I only have 8 Roosts now, which is definitely a lot worse for trying to PP stall
Yeah.
things with pressure. And I also didn't, spoilers, I didn't draft Toxapex, so I can't Infestation Spite them anymore.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So Corvus. So Corvus Glaive, which is this guy here, is Marvel. He got beat up in the Infinity War. No. Yes? The first one. Yeah, Infinity War.
Yeah.
He got beat up by Captain America. He definitely could not normally get beat up by Captain America. But he was a member of the Black Hand with his OTP, Proxima Midnight. Top 10 couples in comics, absolutely. And then when he joined the Cabal, which was a team run by Neymar from that other movie.
Neymar from Barcelona.
Yep, Neymar from Barcelona.
Or Neymar from
Namor.
Namor.
Imperious Rex. He said Imperious Rex in the movie. Black Panther 2, good film. Namor said Imperious Rex. That is 99% of the things that I wanted in this film. He actually said Imperious Rex. I don't even know how long it's been since he said that in like a comic. Like
incredible.
But yeah. Like Thanos, Corvus Glaive, Proxima Midnight, and then like Maximus, who is like the brother of the guy who blew his own head up in what was the WandaVision movie but with Doctor Strange? Multiverse of Madness.
Multiverse of Madness, yeah.
Yes. There's an Inhumans TV show, but I don't think anyone watched it. It's not amazing. There's the Inhumans, like I think I have it here. The Marvel Knights thing they did, which is like a visual comic, so like it's like panels that are like slightly animated, and then like the audio is like done over them, and then like Maximus is in that.
Oh,
and then like
cool.
Terrax, who was I think is going to be in an upcoming Marvel movie, and then I do not remember the other character's name. Black Orchid, I think, who was just like a person who was made for that specific story rather than coming together. Anyways, that is the thing. So basically, as part of that, he and his wife get captured, and his name is Corvus Glaive, and then her name is Proxima, and then like someone who is mind reading. Oh, they get captured by Doctor Doom. And then someone's mind reading them, and they're like, this one is named Corvus, and this is his proxy. And that's where Corvus comes from. No, I don't know why this is the Corviknight nickname, but it was the first thing that came to mind. I actually often think of that panel, mostly because it's really random.
Yeah. I don't have any more Marvel facts to add to that. You seem like you know your stuff, but yeah,
I've been
just for
reading comics
Corviknight
for a good while. Like I don't read comics anymore because I have a full-time job, but I read comics all the time growing up, from the 90s to now, and also sometimes older ones, but mostly to now.
I think this is kind of a good time as well to explain, like with your first tree, how it works with the, you look at Steel's weaknesses. Ground, Corviknight covers that.
It's immune to ground, and it is not weak to fighting.
Yeah, and then the fire, obviously, for Heatran, and, Gholdengo, as I said, really good.
The main weakness of this core is water and electric.
Yeah.
Because I think it has resist to every other type, or immunity to every other type. Is there one I'm missing? Ghost and Dark.
Yeah.
Sorry, it used to have Ghost and Dark resists back before Doublade existed.
Which is why I'm assuming for your fourth pick you went with an electric resistance, right?
Yeah, obviously. Totally not any of the other types that I mentioned there. Am I hitting every type? I think it resists every other type, right?
Yeah.
Besides those 4? So I went with one of those type resists. The aquarium fish. Dondozo. He looks like he's an aquarium fish, like a fish from an aquarium, just like Primal Kyogre. I swear that makes sense. I promise.
Yeah.
Dondozo is here
Dondozo?
because it's a water resist and a good one, and it has very high physical defense. And also, people can set up on Corviknight, and then I have Unaware.
Yeah. Well, Dondozo's just great. Like, Dondozo is one of the mons that I have, like, probably the highest affiliation with in Reg. Not Reg. Generation. We Generation 9 now?
Yes.
Yeah,
it's
so...
the Pokemon that you just won a Premier Challenge with.
Yeah, so there's that.
Because you're a very skillful player who plays Dondozo.
The most skillful players play Dondozo, alright? Because it's so bad now that, it's even just against you. But no, Dondozo's great. It's such a bulky physical type. Unaware is fantastic. a bulky water type is what I meant to say if I didn't say that. It's, you know, like,
But it doesn't look toxic.
You have
So I
Yawn.
don't know how to use it.
Well, it's curse setup. It has Yawn to make the opponent switch out. You know,
It has access to one of the recovery moves that were not nerfed.
Yeah.
Aqua, right?
Oh, I didn't even think of that. You know, you could do rest, sleep, talk, curse sets.
I would never run rest, sleep, talk with curse.
Why is that?
Because I don't like having one attack. So this isn't a Suicune. This Pokemon's special defense is not great.
Yeah,
now,
but,
would I run Rest or Chesto with Curse? Probably.
Yeah.
Now, would I run Rest Talk without Curse? I don't know, maybe. You guys will just have to wait till Thursday for my game to see if that's the set I run.
Absolutely.
Aquarium Fish is funny. He's also very fat, and he's got like an apron on. But also so does Kyogre, so it doesn't really look like it's a design element. Despite the fact it's meant to be a design element, it looks like it's an apron. Kyogre also has the same thing on its mouth. I don't know why, because I don't think whalefish look like that, but whales do. So, like, if it's meant to be... sorry, not all whales, but some whales, I think, do have, like, different jaws. I think specifically, like, orca? Do you know what orca are? Is orca the actual name, or is orca just the Marvel character?
No, the orca like whale. Orca.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I'm not... Because the orca is a Namor villain in the comics.
It's also something that I went to see in SeaWorld when I was like...
Okay, but I was making sure it was the name of the thing and not like a pun, as they sometimes are.
Yeah.
But yes, Dozo Bozo.
Great mon. The best mon. I love it so much.
Yeah, it's an aquarium fish. Ribombee. So I was struggling to figure out what to put as a visual for this because Ribombee, it's just Ribombee. It's just saying Ribombee with like some gusto. But here's a Bombay cat. It's named after the British name for that place in India, Mumbai.
Ribombee's great because it is
can run specs
OU at the moment.
It is OU at the moment. It's a dark resist.
It has sticky web.
It does.
The reason why it's OU at the moment. Fantastic. And what I love the most about this pick is that not only do you have sticky web, but you also have the best counter to defog and rapid spin.
Yes, but it doesn't deal with the only good forms of hazard control. Court change and tidy up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna lose.
But like, how many mons are in court change?
2, maybe 1. I don't know if Raboot does or not. I know Mousehold and Furret and tidy up.
Oh, tidy up. I know court change is
Cinderace and possibly also Raboot, but maybe just Cinderace.
No, just Cinderace. Yeah, so
it's like, I don't know if Raboot wants court change. I've only used that Pokemon like 8 times or something. And like, I mean, in 8 different leagues.
Yeah.
It's like, I've used that Pokemon a lot. No idea if it has court change. Mostly because I just haven't used it in years. But yes, Ribombee. I classically run Specs and occasionally Scarf and often like Life Orb. I just run offensive Ribombee so much because it's so good. Like Quiverdan's Life Orb is just... Often your opponent is trying to deal with Sticky Web and not prepared for the damage. Fairy and Bug is a surprisingly good typing because a lot of the secondary types of like Pokemon that would normally resist Steel or sort of like a Steel or a Fire or a Poison that resist Fairy types, often their secondary type makes them neutral to one of Bug or Fairy. Like they may have a Psychic type or a Fighting type or the other one, Dragon.
Yeah.
And then they will just be like neutral one of them. Grass is another common one. Just any of the types that are weak to these ones. Dark. Gold Incineroar.
Yeah.
Incineroar losing to Bug Buzz is a classic. Oh, I should run Throat Spray Bug Buzz.
Oh my god.
Finally,
run Sticky Web.
Singles.
Run Sticky Web, please.
Bro, I remember when Vikavolt got Sticky Web, and then I just stopped running fun sets on Vikavolt. It was heartbreaking.
Sticky Web. There's quite a few to get.
I don't know, Sticky Web is just bad because people run Boots.
Sticky, I don't know.
I mean,
Good
I'm
people
just bad
will
at the
win
game,
games.
but you know, other people are also bad.
No, you're not.
You've never seen me play singles. No, that's not true.
I kind of
Like, no, you haven't
I
watched
can use
the
my
YouTube video. You haven't watched
I
that
can watch my
YouTube video.
intuition. My intuition
Look,
says
I've only won like less than 20 singles leagues.
See, that's
couldn't
more than
remember
one.
if it would be more than 15 or less than 15.
Exactly. That's like a huge amount. I've never won a draft
Now,
league.
I've played in several hundred, so that may...
I've played in 5.
It's like... I would like to think I have a 5% win rate in Draft League, but it's probably lower than that. It's definitely lower than that in VGC. I've only ever won one VGC league. And I've played
You
a lot
remember the
more than
wins, not the
20.
not the losses. That's all that matters. It doesn't matter how many times you lose. It just matters how many times you won.
That's why I was in like several hundred draft leagues. Like I was in over 200 in Generation 7, so I would assume, despite the fact that I've played less in 8 and 9, I've probably picked up, like I hit 300 at some point.
Yeah.
But yes, Ribombee, it's a fun Pokemon. I basically just run offense on it so much because it's so fun. It's just such a fun Pokemon. But yes, you can also run Sticky Web, and Gholdengo and Heatran are particularly good abusers of it because they are strong and not very fast, but are fast enough with a Scarf. And sometimes you don't want to Scarf it, so you run Webs instead. It also stops your opponent from like beating your Pokemon by having a Scarfer. Then we got Queen, Dragalge. I wanted a Poison type, and I wanted an Electric resist, and also Water resist. So I've only got that Ghost weakness still left. Though Ribombee is maybe not the best Soul Dark resist. I actually don't think I fixed that. Like, not really. I don't switch into Dark very well on this team, but let's ignore that. I don't think I have to switch out much, is maybe the consolation prize. Queen. I have no idea why I named the Dragalge Queen. I just know that I did. So he's Freddie Mercury. This Pokemon has access to Toxic Spikes, and it's also very strong with Draco Sludge Bomb. Something I should have mentioned earlier, and I realized that I'm coming into the next one, that I should have mentioned at the start though, is that this is a like Terra Points draft league where you have to draft the Terra types of the Pokemon that you are having as Terra captains. So I have my next 3 Pokemon are all Terra captains. I think Dragalge gets Flip Turn. I know it did last gen. I don't know if it does now.
Yeah.
But it's very strong, and being able to pivot is also good.
Look, I think as well, one of the things with Dragalge is I like the adaptability, and then you can have the eject pack, and that's how you Draco and you keep the momentum.
My Gen 6 brain is not conceiving the concept of this eject pack. I'm just going to run into a million Intimidate uses with my 1 physical attacker who is immune to Intimidate. No, 2 physical attackers that are both immune to Intimidate. Corvus. Corvus and Aquarium. They're going to bring him. They're going to... I mean, look, I have... So if I think about it, so I've never run any like interesting items on Gholdengo because I've only ever drafted in VGC. But I have run Banded Heatran before, and Banded Corviknight, and nothing interesting on Dozo because I've not ever. I only ever had it in like one very short period of time, but I think I may have run Banded there. I've also run Banded on Ribombee before. So I think that Dragalge is the first Pokemon here. No, I've definitely run Banded Dragalge before. So they should bring Intimidate against me. Which means that Eject Pack is not a good tech here.
Yeah.
This Pokemon is surprisingly strong if you are physical because of adaptability.
Yeah, adaptability's so good. Like just 130 base power, Draco Meteors. You got.
But the number of like steel types I've killed with Draco is a lot. Mostly because I took all the good steel types, and then my opponents have like less good steel types.
Yeah. Also, I think this is your first grounded poison type as well.
Yes, this is.
I'm not wrong.
I believe my only grounded poison. But
yeah,
yes,
so
it means that I may not always have to run
spikes.
boots on Aquarium. But yes, it's also my 6th Pokemon. So yeah, it's a Toxic Spike setter and a Toxic Spike absorber, and it's a especially strong Pokemon that I believe has Slip Turn. You're supposed to check that for me while I was talking to you earlier.
Flip. Yep, it does.
Okay, cool. You have Showdown open. I have the slideshow open. So yeah, Flip Turn, good move. I would like my Pokemon to be able to get in and out. And yeah, its damage is amazing. and like it's weak to steals, but I took all the steals. It does have to like Scald. I assuming it still gets Scald, because if not, it will be Surf. It has to like Surf Klefki, but and Tinkaton. Oh god, Tinkaton.
It gets Scald.
Okay, but like it still has to Scald like Tinkaton and Klefki.
Yeah,
which isn't great. But you know, c'est la vie. It's slow, so
C'est
it
la vie.
can deal with opposing Trick Room if I run into it. That's how that works. You just run room servers. Lycanroc, in Denial. Denial ain't just a river in Egypt. So when I put in my draft picks, I put them into it at a time because I was the third pick, and I think I only made like 2 picks the entire season. Like the entire draft. Like everything else was just the picks I left getting taken because they had a fucking timer off for Americans, but not like in my time zone. So I just had to leave picks.
This
was awful.
This is
because Hippowdon got drafted immediately after I went to bed. Like literally within an hour of me having gone to bed, so about 2 hours after I left picks, Hippowdon got drafted. Now I was drafting a Toxic Spike Sandstorm team. I don't have sand.
See, this is the problem with not being North American. You know, during draft leagues, like only
when
myself
the American like things are like, oh, and we turn the timer off during American times because we need the only genres in the entire draft to not get skipped. I think we added like 3 days to the draft just off of waiting for Americans to have like a nice biddy buys instead of leaving picks.
It's it's disgraceful. Like, just I've been in a few draft leagues myself now where the preferential treatment, just be better. Be better.
But it just makes everyone's draft experience worse. And the Americans then are, more like I say Americans, but it's Canadians as well. There are a couple of people who I've played leagues with who are based in other regions in the Americas. Brazilians, there's obviously a number of them, or the occasional Bolivian or Mexican or Jamaican that I've played with in leagues before as well. But just leave picks, regardless of whether you're American or not. Make the draft go faster, and don't turn off timer. It's a really dumb rule.
Well, to be honest with you, I agree with you. I'd agree with the timer all the time, but I think this year with VBL we went way faster than I thought. Like, I think if the draft's gonna be done in a week, that's. But that's just me. When drafts are going past a week, you're like, what are we doing here?
Like when I was in an IRL draft league, we had timer off, but we would.
And in real life draft league, like, yous were like drafting real Pokemon in real life and fighting each other.
Yep. I had a Doberman. I think that's a breed of dog that is known for fighting. I don't know.
Sounds epic.
I do not endorse whatever it's called, the animal fighting. I don't know what it's called.
You heard it here first. Electric was in a real life draft league and endorses animal fighting.
What's it called?
That's all I've gotten from this video.
What's that called? Where you get dog fighting? That's the one. You just put the animal there.
You're gonna get unmonetized because Peter's gonna see this video. Demonetized even.
Lycanroc in denial. So yes, I will pretend this Pokemon is great for my team, despite the fact I don't have sand, and it's the Sand Abuser. Steadfast is a great ability.
It's decent. You got it's a
Terra
fast one.
I mean, not by the standards of my team. I think it's my 3rd fastest Pokemon. So it's slower than Ribombee, and I picked up another Pokemon that's also faster than it. But it's fine. It's not a terrible Pokemon. It's just not as good without sand. You're much less likely to be able to bulk up and sweep. But it's got Cellrock, which is cool. It's got Stealth Rock, which is very cool. Its coverage is pretty good with Terra. So it has Terra, a Fairy, Play Rough, Terra Fighting, Close Combat. You have to run a Stab Terra, so it's Terra Rock. And it's Terra Grass. I don't remember why it's Terra Grass. I presume it was just to hit ground types, question mark? What resists rock? Fighting, which is weak to Fairy, Steel, which is weak to Fighting, and then Ground, which is weak to Grass. I think that was the thought process I went through. I was considering Terra Water versus Terra Grass, and then I remembered that there are a bunch of ground types that are also water types.
Yeah, that's fair. I see the vision.
Most of the ones that are neutral to Grass are weak then to Fairy or Fighting, or rock.
Yeah. I think it's an interesting concept as well. Each week having to pick your Terra type out is. I think there are 4 good Terra types for Lycanroc. So
I mean, there are more Terra types that I definitely would have loved to have on it, but yeah, the only one like Steel is a type which is decent Terra type on it, because it covers a lot of like annoying Pokemon that, like a Clefable, for example, is a Pokemon that's quite bulky, and you're probably not going to be able to break just with an Iron Head, but with a Terra Steel Iron Head, you'd break it very reliably and stuff like that. But hopefully Terra Rock Stone Edge doesn't miss. Question mark. Terra Blast. Maybe I should run. I honestly forgot I could run Terra Blast Rock.
Do you see yourself running Banded most weeks?
I rarely run Bandit. I tend to run like Life Orb because I feel like switching out moves is really good in it. But sometimes you play against a Pokemon that you need Bandit Accelerock for, and you do it.
Yep, absolutely.
I feel like you don't tend to need Bandit as much when you have a lot of Steel types, though.
Okay. Yeah, I agree.
But I often want to set Stealth Rock with this as well, because Corviknight's not Scarlet. But yeah, Denial ain't just a river in Egypt. As attributed falsely to Mark Twain, which is really weird, because ain't is not something that Mark Twain normally says, though there are things where he will use things. But I don't remember ever having an allegory to, like, a place in Africa, or even Europe. I think he maybe mentions Paris once, in, like, Tom Sawyer, not even Huck Finn. But I don't know, I haven't read them in a while. But apparently James Patterson is the correct author. He writes like action kids books like Daniel X, or Maximum Ride, or Alex Cross. I think there's a TV show for at least one of those now. Yeah, but in Denial. Now, the Pokemon I actually drafted the entire team around, which is why I thought about doing Triple Steel. Gen 1. So
Antonian Primeape. Well, there's only one Primeape.
There's actually only one Primeape. Good old Gen 1 Primeape. Primeape. Yeah, when it was like generic concepts, trying to Pokemon Power, the first issue collector's edition.
Fantastic.
It's Terra Fighting, Terra Electric, Terra Grass, Terra Steel. I don't know why it's Terra Grass. What is Grass super effective into? Water,
Rock,
which doesn't resist
Ground,
fighting. Ground, which doesn't resist fighting. I don't know why it's Terra Grass. It's still weak to flying then. But it's Terra Electric to hit flying types with damage. It's Terra Steel because that makes it resist all of the types it was weak to.
Yeah.
Doesn't really cover a lot of the neutrals, but
I think Terra Ghost.
Yeah, so Rage Fist is the main upgrade, and Stealth Rock. Stealth Rock is a really, really big upgrade for this Pokemon.
Oh, yeah.
But Rage Fist is also
That's
good.
huge.
Having a third Stealth Rocker on this team definitely feels nice. And like I feel like this Pokemon wants to run CC, Rage Fist, U-turn, and then the last move can change game to week to week to week. Like, you know, Thunder Punch, Stone Edge, but certainly Stealth Rock could fit into that slot very easily.
Yeah,
Terra Blast, I guess, Iron Head. And then when I say CC, it could be Drain. It can also be like bulk up with Drain Punch. But yeah, Rage Fist is a move that gets higher base power the more this Pokemon gets hit. And that's cool when you are planning on switching this Pokemon into stuff, because it resists Dark. You run Rocky Helmet to take the knockoff better, by which I mean they take damage when they click knockoff.
Yeah, it's a fantastic mon. Obviously, Eviolite probably most weeks, but you know, for something like, I'm assuming where it was priced, it's, you know, it's a great mon for just.
I think it was an 8.
You said Stealth Rock. Yeah, like Stealth Rock and that Rage Fist,
6.
like just being able to switch in and out and get that boosted up and up is.
Yeah, punishes pivots very reliably, and I feel like
absolutely.
my team is okay at forcing switches.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I don't really understand why I made the Terra options that I did, but you know what, it is what it is. I think I just wanted to water resist, and I don't know why I went grass over water. I guess the ground resist as well.
We'll find out. We'll find out as the league goes on.
I know I looked at all of like the other teams in the league and what they drafted when deciding these. I just have no idea why I picked grass. It's like a random Terra type. But yes, Electric and Steel, I think, are generally its best Terra types. And yes, you could run Terra Ghost for more Rage Fist damage, but moving a 50 base power move to 75 isn't that good, and moving a 300 base power move to 450, is good, but often not that impactful.
Yeah.
So being able to survive more to get the steel and electric stuff is better. Also, like, Ghost and Fighting have weirdly similar defensive sort of like lineups, where they're both bug resists, and then like Ghost is weak to Dark, but yeah, I'm an Eviolite Pokemon. I don't love switching into knockoff anyways, and then like Ghost is immune to Fighting. I guess not that relevant. Fighting is not a particularly strong type in the current format, though I suppose my team maybe does invite fighting types, even though I've got a lot of resists. I think I only have 2 weaknesses, but I don't know. Like, there's a lot of thoughts that you can go into here. I hope that Primeape works. I would like it to work because it's a cool Pokemon. But I feel like the item that you kind of skimped on was Scarf. I think Scarf is a pretty common item for Primeape.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like, just swiping in and out, and then being able to get the. Well, you could do something like, fast close combats is great, but if you have a few swaps in and out, then you have like such a fast, like 150 base power, 200 base power Rage Fist. Yeah. It's gonna do damage.
Very explosive. I think that is probably like the main set item beside Eviolite that you would contemplate. Yeah. And maybe there are games where you want Banded, but I don't know.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah. So there's the Gen 1. This is the Pokemon I drafted around. I thought it would be really good on a Toxic Spike Sandstorm team, because it makes your opponents want to take a lot of switches and make a lot of those risky sorts of plays, and it has some sustain with Drain Punch. I wound up not getting Hippo, like I said, which meant that I also wound up not getting a Wish supporter, which is rough, but c'est la vie, my friend. Also, I think my only status removal is Aromatherapy Ribombee, which is fine, but not amazing. It's better than Heal Bell, because if you have a soundproof Pokemon, they aren't affected by Heal Bell. Oranguru. What's my say?
This is
it's the Hoodoo Gurus.
That was definitely
it's a 1 point
an
Pokemon.
Introduction. Yeah, I don't get that. I think it should be more, which is good for you because you drafted it.
I don't know how much more, but probably more. Slaking was also 1, and it's a much better Pokemon.
Yeah, but Slaking should also not be 1.
So. I picked Terra Psychic because I had to pick one of them, and my thoughts were, so it's kind of weird. So I was thinking, okay, what do I want to run Terra on Oranguru for? Most likely it would be because I'm trying to sweep a team in Trick Room. Now, I had to think about what Normal and Psychic struggled into. Different to each other, right? Like, obviously, Psychic struggles into Dark, but I am not going to Terra Psychic or Normal. If I want to beat Dark types, I'm going to Terra Fairy or Fighting. And the same with, Steels. And then, Normal isn't that much better into Dark. The main thing is, I felt that Terra Normal made my matchup better into opposing Psychic types, because they resist Psychic. And then Terra Psychic made my matchup better into opposing Ghost types, because they are immune to Normal type moves. So that's why I went to Terra Psychic, because I was more worried about Ghost types with my, so far, 0 Ghost resists.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is my first Ghost immunity. And it's okay. And then, Fairy, Fighting, and Electric are just good types. I think it has Thunderbolt, and then Fairy and Fighting allow it to beat its resists.
Yeah, sure, I'm pretty sure it gets Focus Blast as well. Not quite sure about Fairy Stab, but yeah, I think you covered it well.
No, it's got Terra Blast and Fairy Stab. And also
to bring the point. Yeah. Well, yeah, it's for 1 point. I think it's a great great pickup.
I don't know how often it will come, but it's a Pokemon that if it comes, it will probably do things.
Yeah. Choice specs: Hyper Voice, Thunderbolt, Focus Blast,
sure,
Terra Blast, Psychic.
Again, I think Trick Room is maybe the main sort of win condition sort of set, and I think there are probably times where that can come in. But yeah, you can definitely slap a specs on anything and make it good. And Oranguru is definitely not incapable of doing that. Takes hits okay. Yeah. Doesn't help my major knockoff weakness though. Now, Jumpin' Jack Flash is a gas. I found out that there's a Whoopi Goldberg movie also named Jumpin' Jack Flash after the song from the 60s that came out in the 80s. I didn't know that film existed, but yeah. Gastrodon's here because it has spikes and Stealth Rock. Thank you, Gen 9.
That's great. That's such a great buff. for Gastrodon.
It is. It is. Kieran. No, sorry. Yes, it's a very good buff. Water immunity, good. Electric immunity, also good. It's not exactly Hippo, but it's pretty good. 8 PP recover size.
Like, you know, water immunity and just yawn. You could sit there, be bulky, and yawn. Yeah, I think it's a great mon.
In singles?
Yawn is great.
In singles?
Yawn forces people out. So, not people, doesn't force us out. Forces Pokemon out.
But then I'm not running Spikes, Recover, or one of the stabs, right?
Yeah, but like you can set up Stealth Rocks with Primeape, you can set up Stealth Rocks with
yes, but it's my own Spiker, which I think makes Yawn harder to use, but it's fine. And then they're all boots anyways.
Yeah.
I hate boots.
You gotta play the game.
Bring back Gen 7 Draft League with the Megas that were just completely obnoxious and insane and like made every format just so much more like volatile and unfun. And then like
I love Megas though.
Z's who were not very strong, but then people pretended were like anywhere near as strong as Megas were, which was frankly absurd. Like
Z's aren't half as cool. That's the problem.
Z's are like fine, and they were interesting, and you could do a lot of funny things with them, but they were never very good. They were never very consistent. Whereas Megas were absurdly strong and absurdly consistent.
Yeah.
They make Dynamax look like a balanced mechanic.
I miss Dynamax. I never thought I'd say that.
I don't miss Dynamax in singles.
Oh yeah.
It was fun doing some like super low tier Dynamax leagues now and then. But outside of Battle Spot singles, which is the 3v3 format, which I think Dynamax was really good in, was not a big fan of singles. Like a best of 1 Dynamax is not the wave.
Yeah.
It's definitely a best of 3 mechanic. Or best of 5 if you are in the finals of that one league that did best of 5 VGC for finals.
Interesting.
Yeah, Jump and Jack Flash is a gas. Gastron's just fine. It's hard to switch into now that it has Scald back. It was a lot easier to switch into before it had Scald. But still, ground and water is a very strong offensive like thing, as we like saw with my team, bit struggling to switch into ground and water. And then being the electric resist is really good. And then of course, to wrap it all up, I got another ghost resist. Sneasel. So I'm going to need you to work with me on this one, right? Okay. Achoo!
Okay. Bless you. Because that is what every well-mannered human
Every
being
well-mannered
should
Catholic
say.
boy.
Well-mannered. Yeah. Well-mannered Catholic boy, yes. From Ireland.
A decent Irish lad.
Yeah.
Every
Sneasel's
decent
great.
Irish lad. What's the what's the one? I'm trying to remember, like, if a man doesn't say bless you when you sneeze, it's going to be like a real rake when he is.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to be going around town with it. Is going around like a modern thing, or is that just from like songs from the 40s and 30s?
Going around? I think that's still a thing. I think you're still allowed going around in the vocabulary.
Okay, I'm glad to hear it. Yeah. Sneasel is here because it is faster than Lycanroc, and it has okay stabs.
It's fast. It has some decent moves. Brick Break if you want to get rid of screens.
It has Knockoff.
Yeah.
If you want to get rid of boots. It doesn't have Bazoo.
Lash out. 150 base power if the user has had a stat lowered.
Yep. Sneasel is famously very good at having stats lowered without immediately dying. Also, I have Defiant on Primeape, which is the other reason they don't want to bring Intimidate. I forgot to mention that. So I really just like Lycanroc. They should make it so Steadfast gives you a speed boost if you get intimidated, like Rattled. Steadfast is such a bad ability. It doesn't even make you immune to vengeance.
It's a decent low tier mon.
Yeah, I mean it's okay. There are a lot of teams that are going to be weak to ice because
every team's weak to ice, right?
Someone stole all the steel types. See, I very rarely draft teams that are weak to ice because I often draft 3 steel types.
Interesting. Interesting.
And in general, having more steel types makes you less weak to ice.
That's true.
Normally, when I was like doing singles leagues and realizing at the start that I was going to do things, I'd do like nickname themes, but that didn't happen. So, bless you. It's also the only one that has a punctuation in it because I thought that would be funny. And you know what? I do think it's funny. And personally, I thank everyone for watching. Definitely check out the content. And thanks a lot to our Premier Challenge winner for being here.
Given the insight. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yep, and video's out on Thursdays. Goodbye.
Bye.